Hey everyone, and welcome to our Setting Up the Chessboard Dead Chess 101 series. This is the first video in our series, and we're going to start from scratch. So if you are a seasoned chess player, been playing chess for a long time, or you haven't played chess in a long time, but you pretty much know how to set up the board, and you basically know how the game goes, you can skip over most of these early videos, or you can watch them as a review. So we're not going to be talking about how the pieces move in this particular video. We're only going to talk about how to actually set up a board. Now, before I get started, I want to encourage you, if you do not have a chessboard that you can use to follow along with me, I'm going to encourage you to head on over to your computer or to your favorite app store and download the app that's listed on the screen here. It says www.leechess.com. So go ahead and download that app. You can see my cursor. Hopefully you can see the cursor here. www.leechess.org. I said .com, but it's .org. And there you can go into the analysis board section and you will see the exact board that I'm using here. And you can follow along with me. And you can add your pieces to the board. You can remove pieces. You can move pieces around on the board and basically have a good old time. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and clear the board. So over here, we have a clear the board button. So we're going to go ahead and clear the board. That takes all the pieces off the board. And as we look at the board, you'll notice that in the lower right-hand corner, there is a light color square. There's also a light color square on the opposite diagonal, right to here. Whenever you set up your board, just get in the habit of always having a light square on the lower right-hand side that is closest to you. You can see the white pieces are here, and we have a light color square down here in the corner. If I flip the board around, so we're looking at the board from the black pieces perspective, the dark pieces, you can see that there is a light color square here as well. Let's flip it back. Once you've done that, you are all set to start adding the pieces to the board. Now, technically, you can put pieces on the board in any order that you please, but for the purposes of this video, given that it's an instructional video, we're going to do it in a specific order. We're going to work from the outside in, and we're going to work along what we call the back rank for both sides. So both sides have rooks. These are your rooks. There are pieces here that look like castles. Place one of those on each of the outside square, for both black and white. Our rooks, or sometimes better known as castles, are now on the board. So white has 2 rooks, or castles. Black has 2 rooks, or castles. Next, we will add the knights, often referred to as the horses, or horsey. So both sides have 2 of those. Go ahead and add those to the back row for each side. Next, we add our bishops. Our bishops have that little pointy hat, and on the display here, they have a little cross on the hat here. We need 2 of those. We have a dark square bishop and we have a light square bishop. We need to do the same thing for black. Add their bishops. They have a dark square bishop and a light square bishop. Next, we'll add our queen. The main thing about the queen to remember is the queen should be placed on her color. So the white queen should be placed on a light square. The black queen should be placed on a dark square. Now I'm using the phraseology light square, dark square, black, white, because these terms are used interchangeably. I will prefer to use light squares, dark squares, because the squares aren't always black and they're not always white. Sometimes they're green and white. Sometimes they're a light color gray and brown. So generally speaking, we'll talk about the dark squares or the dark pieces or the dark square pieces and so on, so that you're not confused. All right, so we just added our 2 queens on their color. Next, we're going to add the kings, and we place the kings next to the queens. This basically completes our development our development or our setup of the first rank for both sides. All that's left now to do is to add our pawns, and each side has 8 pawns. So we add our pawns to the board, and you notice my cursor turned into a little pawn. That means I can place a pawn anywhere I want, and if I click on it, it'll take it off. So I can put 8 pawns. I'll go up to the black pieces, put in my black pawns, and basically the board is all set. So let's clear the board and just do it one more time. So we have our rooks in each corner. I won't do the white and black, I'll just do the white pieces. We have the knights next to the rooks. We have the bishops next to the knights. We have the queen on her color, and then we have the king next to the queen. And that is how you set up the board in terms of the back row. And then the next thing we would add are the pawns. As I said in the beginning, you can go in any order that you want, but typically when I'm teaching lessons like this, we always start with the back rank and we start with the rooks and work our way in until you feel comfortable. And then once you feel comfortable, you can place any piece in their proper squares in any order that you'd like. All right, that's it. Have a good one, folks. We'll see you in the next video.